Great. Good. Busy day, which is good. Good thing. It's going to be short this year. Most people, I mean, I got water. You know, not water for a long time. My mom can get that surface water and they get half an irrigation. That's it?
Well, did they lose their field?
No. They don't want it off properly.
Just go dormant when you drought it? Because it affected next year? What Bob?
Normally not.
Yeah.
It'd be good.
Hey, what's up, Mr. Powell?
Good saying. Doing what I love, man. Hey.
All right.
Richard?
When you get a chance. Did I get it right? There's
Like the probation under.
and then there's one more in life that passed on. I didn't even so we didn't be able to. That was the.
You got every board member on your journey.
Yeah, that's coming up on the 24th, the Lions School of
So,
Development.
yeah, so
That's
did
the one
it
that
get
says-
bumped to the 24th?
It will go on the 24th.
Oh, okay, that's what I'm
Yeah,
confirming,
for
right?
some reason I took it, I pulled it over, forwarded it.
I understand that. I just want to make sure we're on the same page. So what got included in
That was
packet
G8.
is Eight.
G8,
Eight.
yes.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
Had the same wording.
Okay, all right, very good.
Yeah. I sent you an email on that, right?
I think probably so. Oh, morning, Larry.
I don't want you to read that.
Yes. You need to occur?
Well,
Yeah.
Hi, Joe. Hi, sweetie.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order.
Do we have anything under number one?
No.
I don't know if there's a machine here, and we don't know how this is going to work. If you can make
Oh, my.
that, if you can make that, you know the rest. Yeah.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. The clerk has asked me to make an announcement about the new microphone in the boardroom that you can all see. For those in attendance, the meeting proceedings are recorded, are broadcast over the county internet, are available to the public and used as backup to notes in memorializing the proceedings. Private side conversations are picked up by the equipment. The recordings are available to any member of the public. Public speakers at the podium are often nervous and speak softly. Private side conversations are often recorded more loudly than the speaker. If you're using the overhead projector, please shut it off as soon as you're done because it creates noise and feedback on the system. It's very distracting during the meeting or when listening to a recording to hear typing, eating, rustling papers, cell phones ringing, clicking of texting, and side conversations from the board and the audience. Such distractions interfere with the ability to accurately capture the proceedings. Any side conversations with staff should be held during a resource or at the end of the meeting. It's extremely difficult to track one person's conversations when others break in with their thoughts, ideas, and comments. To that end, it would be greatly appreciated if those in attendance would keep side conversations and noises to a minimum. And please try not to interrupt each other when issues are being discussed. The chairman will give you a turn to speak when the other person is finished. Thanks for your cooperation, and that is from the clerk's office. Is that it?
Okay, thank you.
Talk about the noise Nazi.
Listen to a CD lately?
No recordings for you in 1 year.
Okay, we'll move on to public comment. If there's anyone that would like to speak at this time, we'll have another public comment period at 9:30 before we start that portion of our meeting. Violet?
Well, I gave all of you guys a Father Day poem. I don't know if you want it or not. I don't know if you're a father, but I know you had one or you wouldn't be here. Anyway, Heather Coleman up there, and I was wondering if you'd read them today. You read a lot better than I did, so. Thank you for your
That's
time.
debatable, but I'd be honored to read it. I'll wait till the 9:31. Thank you. Okay, if there's no public comment, we'll move on to closed session. And Richard, would you please announce the items to be discussed?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The board will be entering closed session for a conference with legal counsel regarding existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9, the Grace Foundation of Northern California versus Wells Fargo Bank et al. Case number 30-20-002612-006312863-CU-RC-CJC.
Thank you. Okay, so with that, we'll go into closed session. Join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Almighty God, we pray this day for your ever-enduring guidance. We ask you focus in wisdom and fortitude, that we may disperse our knowledge and facts intelligently among all humanity of whom we serve. Amen. Okay, we'll begin with the announcement of items discussed in closed session.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, the board met in closed session regarding existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9, the Grace Foundation. There was no reportable action.
Okay, agenda approval, additions, and deletions.
Mr. Chairman, I have a couple of items I'd like to ask you withdraw from the agenda for today. Most notably from the information and consent calendar, G4, G5. Those are matters that I presented for consideration, which essentially contemplates my asking you for permission to sign a contract as the district attorney, and I'm no longer the district attorney. So I'm going to ask those to be withdrawn. And I'm going to consult with whomever you appoint, if you appoint someone, and perhaps they'll be represented at another time.
Mr. Chairman, I have one item H8. I would like to amend to delete the section of the subject and recommendation regarding the administrative assistant to the county administrative officer. Leave the rest of it. To delete the section regarding the administrative assistant job description and classification.
Those H8, correct?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, one other issue, not necessarily an issue. It appears that on information and consent, G8 and G10, G8 should be deleted at this time. It looks like a double entry is what it looks like. And that's all. It was just a double entry on the agenda. So we gave double notice for the intent to discuss that item.
That's been important.
Well, in case it failed the first one, you have a chance to consider it the second.
Okay. Supervisor Chapman?
Yeah, I would like to ask that today we adjourn in honor of the 92 men and women who have served on this board. We have this being the 150th anniversary of the first meeting of the Board of Supervisors.
Send a notice to...
Send a notice in the morning, place a wreath on the grave.
Very good. That's nice, yeah. Okay, so with that, do we have a motion?
I would move the group page.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay. Before we move on to public comment, our county poet Violet has created a couple of more beautiful pieces. Thank you, Violet. And asked me to read them on her behalf and be honored to. As Supervisor Chapman mentioned, it's the 150th year anniversary of the first county Board of Supervisor meeting, May 10, 1864. I thought it was June, but Violet wrote May, and I wasn't going to argue with Violet. So I'm going to quote May, and you can take it up with Violet.
Violence is being violence.
All right. June 10th. Is that okay, Violet?
Whatever down.
Okay. Don't want to upset you. Anyhow. I would have Jim mad at me than you. Okay. Lassen County 150 years ago. 150 years ago, Peter Lassen left his name, and this beautiful county of Lassen on this map is still the same. Many conflicts beseech the residents over taxes and territory. To write the years of history would recreate a story. Pursuant to the Organic Act, a county election was held on the first Monday of May in 1864. The commissioners impelled. Susanville received the highest number of votes and was declared the county seat. With the new officers elected and sworn in, the county of Lassen was complete. Thank you, Violet. Very nice. Yeah. And another beautiful piece of work. Happy Father's Day. There will always be a father to populate the earth. Though we may not always know them, they are bonded to our birth. One may have a famous father, or one they may abhor, or one they know they'll never see, as he was killed at war. There are fathers in the spotlight, and some who misbehave. Some repose in the restless sea, and others in the grave. Fathers come in different colors of languages and creeds. They are known as protectors, fulfilling cares and needs. Some are loving and forgiving and always do their best. Fathers come in all professions. Some are proud, some depressed. But anyway, it's Father's Day, whomever he may be. He is the one responsible for causing you and me. Thank you, Violet.
We'd be interested to see what Levi has to say about
Yeah. He likes his dad. I keep the fight going. All righty. So with that, we'll move on to public comment. And I have a card from Jill Marie Miller.
Guys.
And if you haven't filled out a card when Joe's done, just raise your hand and we'll give you the opportunity to talk.
I'm Joe Marie Miller, and this is Joe Turner and Barbara Keelan, and we came to present information to you about the movement of the state of Jefferson. And we're asking for to get it put on a future agenda so that we might bring a 15-minute presentation to you so that you will know what it's about and what they've made, what progress they've made so far. So I think Barbara and Joe had some things to add.
Joseph Turner, just ran for District 3 Supervisor and lost. But over the course of my campaign, I was fortunate to meet many residents throughout Lassen County. As I spoke with many of them, they would express their grievance to the state government in Sacramento. We all know too many people who either leave our community or plan on leaving our community after retirement. They're fed up with a lot of things in California, and the frustration is not isolated to our community. Many counties are joining the movement to make an actual legal change for the good of our communities in the North State. And I would ask the Board of Supervisors to consider a motion to merely hear a clear and concise presentation on the Jefferson Declaration movement. This is not a commitment to action by the Board of Supervisors, however, an opportunity to receive information and ask questions based on the needs of our community. The people of Lassen County that I have had the opportunity of meeting and speaking with have a growing interest in this movement and would like to hear further discussion within Lassen County. And there will be more discussion amongst the community themselves through town hall meetings, public gatherings, and other events as well. And we would like the supervisors to receive a great wealth of knowledge from Mark Baird, who's an exceptionally well-spoken, very nice, and very knowledgeable person. So we just ask that you guys take some time to hear a presentation, and we're not asking you to even vote on anything, just hear a presentation. Thank you.
How,
Okay.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
maybe some, you mentioned some other counties have been, kind of up to speed on this. Which one?
There are 17 counties, and I don't have the right pamphlet with me, but there are 17 counties. I know that MODOC and Siskiyou both voted to withdraw, but there are 17 counties, and I think 7 of them are in the process, and the rest of them have already voted to withdraw.
Tehama County voted on Measure A. The supervisors passed it to a voter initiative during the primaries. That passed. I believe Sutter or Yuba County, the supervisors voted to go along with it as well. And there's other discourse amongst other counties as well. Lake County's primarily Democratic area actually asked Terry Raposa and Mark Baird to come back and present them with more information as well. And Del Norte County had a very low turnout, and there was the Keep It California movement, which spent over $60,000. And it was only, if you look at the point margin for the election, it looks very large, but it was a very low voter turnout. It was within 50 or 100 votes of passing within Del Norte County. And it is an actual legal effort to bring back representation at bare minimum to the North State. And Mark Baird is much better at explaining that. I can answer questions probably offline, but it's best if he actually gives the presentation.
As a small business owner, California, I'm sorry, my name is Barbara Keeling, and I'm a small business owner. California is putting us out of business. We had a small construction company, we had 15 employees, that's 15 families that were hurt by the real estate market, but when things started to pick up, all the requirements that California needed for us to start a business back up, we couldn't meet. We didn't have the money to get all the insurances back up, even though we were getting the work. So California is killing small businesses. That's just 15 families from our little company that went out of business. I own my own business as well, but I can't open a shop in California. Not with all the requirements. I can't hire anyone. It's just too much. And we are seriously considering moving out of California. Even though we've been here our entire lives, and we will take our businesses with us and start someplace new.
I understand we can't really discuss the issue, but I mean, I think that there is a large section of the community that is kind of engaged in this, and I think it would be good if we could have an opportunity to hear a short presentation on the matter.
I have a lot of questions. I mean, there's nobody more wanting to get out of California than me. Everything you just said is, I mean, they just passed, endangered species are very well, and that was done by the Fish and Game Commission against the California Department of Wildlife. You got your air issues, your air race board. I mean, you're killing it. You're right on. But I just wondered the validity of doing it. You can't work. You got to have a vote of the state legislature, the vote of Congress. I don't think California's going to give FCCC, and I did it. I mean, there's so many hurdles. Is the money in the rural state there to make a state? I mean, we obviously don't run Lassen County on local money.
Sounds like we need this agenda.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, what community agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I think we should too, and I think it's important to note that this isn't the first time this issue has been voted on or discussed by the county. In 1992, we had 3 advisory measures that were on the ballot. The voters in the county voted overwhelmingly to support the 51st state separation that was at that time being proposed. 27 of the 31 counties that voted on it voted in favor. The closer you were to the Oregon border, the higher the percentage was. I think those counties were in the 85 percentile, and the next tier of counties which were in was in the 80 percentile. And then as you got closer to the Bay Area, obviously, but even San Francisco voted in that election, and they voted 46% in favor of splitting the state.
Wow.
Which kind of, I think, shocked some of the more liberal. It was one of the 4 counties that did not support it at that time. There was a second measure on the ballot that also passed, maybe not quite to the extent that the 51st state proposal was, but it was to recreate the Jefferson State item. And then we had a third item, which was to secede from California and join Nevada, actually move over and become part of the state of Nevada. And that one was actually defeated by the voters in the county. It was at that time that Nevada was in the midst of, with Fish Springs and whatever, trying to steal the water. So there was a certain amount of animosity, even though historically, 150 years ago, everybody thought they were part of Nevada. So we have a history here in the county of supporting these particular movements, and I think it would be worthwhile to review the historical record as we consider this item in the future.
Thank you.
Is there a particular date you'd like to agenda?
Joe, is there any particular time you're...
July, please. Yeah, Terry said any Tuesday in July would work for them.
Could you get me any supporting information?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, there was a gentleman with a hand up. Yeah.
My name is Martin Balding, and I'm here to give some comments on term limits. I can't stay for the rest of the meeting, so I want to make a couple comments right now. The original framers of the Constitution did not include term limits, probably for some of the same reasons we consider it now. One of the things is that we can always vote someone out, and as we know, the recall solution is another solution if we have someone in office that we don't want. And my own feeling is term limits will take away my right to vote on someone. There may be a very successful candidate there that most people want to keep in. The majority may want to keep them. And if they do want to keep that candidate, I think they should have the right to vote on it. If this goes to the voters to make a decision on whether to have term limits, those voters may be taking the right to vote away from from people in the future. So those are a couple of comments I have about term limits. I do have something that Orrin Hatch probably wrote to one of his constituents at some time. He's Orrin Hatch, senator from Utah, Republican, and he had some comments about term limits, very similar to what I just mentioned. So I hope today that you'll decide not to proceed with the term limit ballot. And I'll just leave these up here and be passed out. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Thanks for your comments. Appreciate it. Is there anyone else who would like to talk under public comment? Alrighty. Well, let's move on to unagendized reports by board members. Supervisor Chapman?
Just 2 items, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I wanted to state that I'll be at the Eagle Scout presentation tonight, and I'll be presenting the certificate that the board makes available to congratulate its Richard James Peterson is going to be receiving his Eagle Scout, and I think it's quite an accomplishment. The other thing I wanted to share was today, as I indicated earlier, was the 150th anniversary of the county's first board meeting. And recently, Tim Purdy shared with me, and I just think it's kind of cool when you look at, if nothing else, their handwriting back in those days is far better than what you see today. But out of his collection, here's a copy of the proceedings of the Board of Commissioners of Lassen County, which once the Organic Act was passed by the legislature on April 1st, then Governor Frederick Lowe appointed 3 individuals to basically organize the county. And so between April 1st and May 12th, the commissioners worked to set up the precincts, the districts for supervisor, organize the election that was set for May 2nd that year. And finally, on the 12th of May, they certified the canvass of the votes. They had a big battle over 2-3 of the precincts up north there in their neck of the woods, Aaron, and they eventually, on a 2-1 vote, voted not to include them. Susanville and Janesville were on the ballot for consideration for the county seat. Susanville prevailed by 2 votes over Janesville at the time. The kids in the 3rd grade history day this year, they voted in the same kind of a mock election, and they voted like 160 some to about 30 for Janesville. So obviously the Janesville kids got outvoted, but it was a change in time. But I just wanted to pass this around, have you kind of take a look at it if you get a moment today. Here's copies of the lease. They didn't have a county building, so it wasn't until 1867 that the first courthouse was built for county offices and a courtroom. So they leased the Magnolia Hotel, which is somewhere there, kind of just close to where the St. Francis Hotel is on Main Street. And that's where a lot of the county offices, including the district attorney and others, conducted business from. The Masonic Hall, which would be sitting in the space where Bank of America parking lot is now, facing kind of the Pioneer Saloon, was also used as a meeting place. So kind of some very interesting challenges they had back in those days. But since that first election that was held on May 2nd, 97 men and women have been elected or appointed to serve on this board. And so it's a fairly small group, and they've been conducting the business. And a lot of people will find it boring, other people will find it exciting, but a lot of work has been done to keep the county going, and the job that we have is to continue that tradition. So I just think it's important that we take a moment and recognize the accomplishments of those men and women who have served. I prepared a little booklet which has the names of those individuals there, which I given to the board earlier. So hopefully you'll enjoy reading that and contemplating on the importance of the job that we all hold. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for the efforts here.
This is part of the observance ceremony. We've got a few more between now and September, but it started off with the celebration there in front of the courthouse and the big cake that was cut. So I understand the employee picnic that's going to take place on June 24th, that they're actually planning on getting another one of those cakes made that was held for the 150th anniversary celebration on April 1st. So I thought that was pretty cool. So the employees are into it as well. Beautiful cake. It was a great cake. Yeah. Hard to say.
That's nice. Thanks for your work. That's probably good. Yeah. Supervisor Elmo?
Yes. For those of you who may not know, the State Water Resource Control Board, they're basically demanding that all post-1914 water right users curtail any water impoundments or any water diversions to go on down south to bigger and better uses. And that's going to have a great impact on many people. And then yesterday, I was up on the Forest Service because I had to fix a fence, because you can't cut down a pine tree that's attached to a fence because it's dead. You have to, it's a wildlife tree, so you have to wait for it to fall over, then you get to go back up and fix the broken wires and etc. So anyway, so I was up there doing that, and the Forest Service tree pulled it behind me. And so I asked them what they were doing up there, just out of curiosity. And the Forest Service was up there taking pictures of all the ponds, water diversions, you know, so if a spring is running into a pond, they were up there taking a picture of that to see how they could divert that water around the pond so it would go on down the watershed. If a pond has a head gate in it, they were supposed to open the pond to let the water on down. And I asked him, I said, since when did the state of California have authority over the federal government? He said, well, if we don't, they're going to find a few water amendments. And so this is the kind of stuff that we're living with. It's terrible. And then like Bob was said earlier, you know, the wolf. I mean, when is this stuff going to stop? And so that's just some of the stuff that's coming down. It's very disturbing. And then I went to the CLM congressional meeting with Doug Lamalfa and
Art Emmerdale.
yes, thank you. They had out there at Jensen Hall, which was a very good public hearing. You know, here again, we're talking about the wild horses that are ruling the roost over everything. You know, they're sustainability levels are 3 or 4 times what their sustainability levels are. They're maxed out on their impounding yards. They've got 60,000 horses that they're holding back in the Midwest, and the cost of the taxpayer dollars are $46 million a year. Can't adopt any more out, and they're looking for solutions, but here again, you can't do anything with them. Environmentalists, so they're just killing us. So, anyway, that's all I have to say.
Jeez, I hope it gets better.
Still at it.
Looking at it.
Yeah, no, I agree. It is horrible. I mean, where we've gone as a country is just, it's nuts. Yeah. You wonder what these guys 150 years ago would think. It's absolutely ridiculous. Anyhow, let's move on. Maybe you have some brighter news, Supervisor.
Well, not really. I went to the BLM meeting with Supervisor Alba, and I was kind of shocked at the laws and regulations that are imposed upon our grazing people. What do we have, 50% of the cow herds that we had at one time now?
1950 level.
Okay. And I also attend the U.S. Forest Service, which is even more egregious than BLM. And I don't know if there's any way we can support these ranchers with their efforts to maintain their herds. We ought to do that. We ought to stand up. And I don't know what that avenue is, but we should do that. On a different note, I'd like to apply some of my discretionary money, which I've kind of lost track of, Mr. Egan.
Yeah, I find out. We're almost at the end of the year.
And I believe I have 4 fire departments in my district, and I'd like to give each one of them $500 out of my discretionary money.
Okay. Or whatever's left to be divided equally.
Or maybe 50, whatever's left.
What are the names of the fire departments?
Likely,
Okay.
Standish Litchfield, Furlong, and Doyle.
Thank you.
Or whatever the balance to be divided equally.
Well, I think there's more money in there than
Okay.
that. Yeah. But if there isn't, yeah.
Thank you.
Supervisor Powell?
Yes, I'd like to, and I gotta find out what my discretionary funds would have left, but last weekend there was a fund we raised, I think the junior, juvenile, and diabetic fund. I forget exactly the names, I'd like to make a donation to them, but I found, see what I got left first, so we'll go from there. And on a little brighter note, I did attend Saturday the dedication of the new trail system up the Lassen Creek conservation area. And it was a very nice turnout, and it was done very good. And I just like to say great things for Lassen National Trails Trust, and people have really, from the beginning to now, gone come a long ways and did a lot. And they're a great asset to the community. So, that's it.
Thank you.
Can I ask you, are you going to bring back that discretionary funds, or do you want to?
I better call Karen and find out. Karen, if you're listening, will you?
She's gone.
I'll find out what I got in there. I just don't remember.
I'll let you know.
Oh, there's Diane right there. Yeah, she did. I didn't see you.
I'm hiding.
You're always hiding.
Thank you.
If you would give me that information, Diane, then I could figure it out.
Yeah, I'll get it for you.
Thank you.
Yesterday, I attended LAFCO along with Supervisor Chapman. One of the interesting topics that we're dealing with now in LAFCO is the Herlong Public Utility District and the West Patton Village Community Service District. Quite an important issue for future development and growth there. And LAFCO has done quite a bit. And we're going to have a public hearing coming up soon on the matter, and there's quite an extensive bit of information has been compiled. If anyone's interested, I'm sure it's available through Richard. Yeah. So this is a copy of it here. It's
I think comments are due, or supposed to be in by July 11th, and then it's going to be heard in that public hearing on August 11th.
yeah, thank you. And I would like to split equally the balance of my discretionary funds to the following 5 people. Number 1 being the Janesville Music Program, 2, the Milford Community Center, 3, the Honey Lake Valley Grange, 4, the Austin Miners Project, the Janesville Gap Filler Annex Project, and 5, the Blue Star Moms. I think I have quite a significant amount left. I haven't made many disbursements from that, so. Okay, thank you. That's all I have. So, okay, we'll move into our 10 o'clock time certain, item D2. Richard, will you give the intro on this one?
Sure. Supervisor Alba, several weeks ago, asked if we could coordinate an update on what had occurred in the property that was surplus in the Hurlong area last year. And so I invited Mr. Smith to come give us an update. He's here today, and look forward to hearing what he has to say.
Hi there, Larry Smith, HSP. Just going to go over real quick. I guess you want to know what we've been doing out there. We've been fairly busy. To start with, one of the first things we needed to do on the building 2067